You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Really excited to get started here today on our Friday review. I'm going to dedicate the entire show today to one family of vitamins, not just one vitamin, but one family of vitamins that literally has been clinically proven through study after study after study to decrease your levels of stress, to increase your levels of energy, and boost your mood. It does a lot more than that too, but those are three that I want to focus on today. And that's because in my practice, every single day, I hear from people and I see people who come in and besides all of their other symptoms, whether it's autoimmune or whether it's a skin issue, or whether it's migraines, whatever it might be, they're all dealing with some level of stress. They're all dealing with some level of lowered mood and some level of lowered energy. Now, they might have decent levels, but it certainly wasn't where it used to be. And one of the reasons is we're finding right now through studies is as we age, we're losing about 1 to 2% of our brain, like literally atrophying every single year. Not just that, but also our cellular mitochondria would provide us with energy and also our absorption. So when I talk about this today, I want you to understand that all of these things are reversible, but there's a reason why it's happening. So every time you get sick, or if you've ever been diagnosed with a disease or whatever it might be, just keep in mind there's always a reason why. I don't like when people say like, oh, well, it's just genetic or it's just this or everyone in my family has it. That's fine. It just means that everyone in your family was susceptible to getting that particular thing. But it certainly doesn't mean that you need to live with it now, tomorrow, or for the rest of your life. That's just simply not true. Well, I think, honestly, it comes down to this, and what a lot of people are missing is that, and it's only because we haven't been taught it, is that you are either suffering from some type of toxicity, something's built up in your body, bacterial overgrowth in your gut, candida overgrowth from antibiotics, or poor food combining alcohol, Advil, birth control, any number of things. Heavy metals you may have accumulated because we live in a very toxic world. You probably don't know this, but tap water, the ice cubes that you get at a restaurant, whatever it might be, those literally have aluminum in them. They have aluminum, and you might say, well, that's crazy. Why would there be aluminum? Well, aluminum's used, actually. It's called an anionic surfactant, and it helps to clean water. Now, it pulls other harmful metals out of your water, like lead, but the problem is there's aluminum in it, and aluminum can lead to things like Alzheimer's. So just keep in mind, you can have toxicities, or you can also have deficiencies. Deficiencies are what we're concentrating on today. And there is one major vitamin family that I see in my practice time and time again because I have people run the organic acids test from Great Plains. And again, I'll link up to that on our show notes page. Simply go to stephencabral.com/588 today, 588. And you're going to be able to get that same lab that you can run right at home if you choose to. Again, you don't have to, but my job is to be able to give you every single way possible to be able to take back control of your mind and body. And you're going to understand after today's show why this affects your mind so much as well. So mind and body, you can run the lab today. You can take these vitamins. You can get it from food. I'm giving you every angle possible so that there's no excuses, so that you can start helping your kids, your family, everyone you know, including yourself and mainly yourself, so they can live a healthier, longer life. So let's get right into it today. Really excited. And I'll tell you why. And one of the things that my mentor taught me many, many years ago, this is going back, let's say 15 years now, maybe not quite that long, pretty close, about 12 years, 13 years now. So she taught me this, is that I had an MTHFR, methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase-based gene mutation. Now, it's a mouthful to say. They're finding now over 1/3 of the population is at least 70% occluded, with another probably 33% being 30% occluded. It just simply means this, is that your body's not doing its best job at dealing with things like inflammation, okay? I have a double copy, which means I'm 70+%. that means I'm really susceptible to inflammation. And now again, hopefully, really, I hope that you tuned in this past week. I believe it was on Wednesday, the only 2 causes for inflammation. So here's the thing. Inflammation is not a disease, it's a symptom, but now there are reasons why you're going to find out. So if I'm more susceptible to it, why is this? Well, I have certain deficiencies or my body's not able to process certain things as well to decrease inflammation. But I can keep that in check, and I do keep it in check. When it's out of check, though, you can see it on my blood labs, you can see it on my organic acid test, you can see it on all these different things that it starts to get out of whack. But the truth is, too, I can feel it happening inside of my body, and I know you can too. So if you're dealing with things like you just can't handle stress as well as you used to, you get overwhelmed more easily, you're a little decrease in energy, you don't feel as well, your mood's a little lower than it is, it's most likely you're missing this family of vitamins, and here's what it is. They're called the B complex family. And again, how did my mentor help me? She gave me vitamin B6, she gave me vitamin B12. Why did I need that so much? You're going to find out. So here's the thing. Usually a healthy diet can supply us with all these B vitamins that we need. I'm going to give you the foods that you do need. But the problem is this. When you're under a lot of stress, like let's just say you have a job, you have a family, you go on a commute, any of these things, unless you're like relaxed, meditating, independently wealthy, and just kind of like relaxed all day, you're going to be using up your B vitamins in pretty quickly. Plus, they're used for detoxification as well. Now, some symptoms of B vitamin deficiency beyond what I just stated are anemia. Okay, a lot of people think it's just iron. It's not just iron. It's not. It's B6, it's folate, and it's B12 as well. Fatigue. Super important that you get your B vitamins. You can have energy if you're low on B vitamins. Depression. I'm going to talk about that. That's a big one. Low mood, anxiety, depression. Hair loss. A lot of people don't equate that into it. Eczema. Muscle cramping. Loss of appetite. Numbness and tingling in the arms and legs. Really, really common. So here's what we're going to go through right now. I'm going to give you all the B vitamins, what they do, then talk about the foods they're in. I'm telling you, this is honestly, vitamin D is important, vitamin C is important, they're all important, but this family of vitamins can change a person's life like it did mine. Okay, so here we go. Vitamin B1, it's needed especially for those with lower thyroid, lower energy, and if you're eating a lot of carbs in your diet, super, super important. Okay, vitamin B2, energy, adrenal-based issues, reducing migraines. Really, really important as well. Niacin or niacinamide, that's vitamin B3. So I just went B1, thiamine, B2, riboflavin, B3, niacin or niacinamide. This helps with energy. It helps to lower cholesterol. It's needed for DNA repair, okay? Really important as well for any type of homocysteine, high cholesterol, anything cardiovascular-wise. All right, vitamin B5, pantothenic acid. Many different names for this, okay? We're going to go through all of them. It speeds up things like wound healing. It helps with energy, definitely adrenal-based issues, super important for the mitochondria. And it also reduces cholesterol. You're going to see that as well because of inflammation and homocysteine. B6, this is the one that, believe it or not, B12 and B6, but B6 is the forgotten vitamin. I'm going to do a whole show just on B6. It's that important. Nobody knows about it. They honestly don't. Everyone talks about folate. Everyone talks about B12. Nobody talks about B6. Nobody talks about pyridoxine 5-phosphate, okay? B6, so important. It's needed for, why is this? Okay, it helps with Alzheimer's, helps with PMS. It produces neurotransmitters like serotonin. It's needed for the conversion of those neurotransmitters to boost mood, but it does so much more than that. Energy, red blood cells, oxygenation. So one of the big things is it's kind of like magnesium. It's a potentiator. It's like a vitamin C for other antioxidants. It helped the others become so much better. I'll talk again. I'm doing a whole show on it. It's that important because it's this vitamin that helped me out tremendously in life. It helps with detoxification. There's like no limit to what it can help with. It doesn't mean we need to overdose on it. It just means that it's a very, very important B vitamin. Okay, what's up next? We haven't talked about this yet. So folate or folic acid or methylfolate, so that's the methylated version, which I always recommend, right? It's called Nature Folate, methylfolate 5-MTHFR. It's written a lot of different ways. What you don't want is just plain folic acid. Folic acid can build up in your body and it can become toxic. If you get the natural version, that's why you see studies saying like, oh, folic acid is bad for you. Well, yeah, if you give someone a synthetic form of it, meaning like a form that your body can't properly process, it's going to build up. But that's why all vitamins aren't created the same. If you buy a really cheap vitamin from Costco or someplace, then yeah, you're looking for the cheapest thing. Don't put the cheapest thing in your body. Buy the cheapest toilet paper, the cheapest paper towels. That's fine. But don't buy the cheapest vitamin. That doesn't make any sense. That's food and nourishment you're putting in your body. Honestly, it's like maybe 50 cents a day for a good B vitamin or something like that, or $1 at the most. And the cheap ones are like 30 cents. So it's not that much more, 20 cents difference to get something that's not going to become toxic in your body. Super important. But again, I'm going to give you the food sources today as well. All right. Another big one. So folic acid is often referred to as B9, vitamin B9. Typically, they just say folate. Another one that it isn't always referred to in the B vitamin family, but was originally called vitamin B7 is biotin. Now, a lot of us know biotin for the hair, skin, and nails. Really strong, healthy hair, skin, nails. I mean, again, start with 2 milligrams or so per day. Really important. Go up to 5 milligrams, not a problem. So when we're looking at this, what are we really talking about? We're talking about how it can strengthen the protein in the body. It's also excellent when combined with things like chromium, vanadyl sulfate, things like that for blood sugar control. Fantastic, okay? Been used in type 2 diabetes. It's actually in one of our blood sugar support products as well. Another one that's not always with the B vitamin family is choline. Choline's so important for the nervous system, really absolutely important for the nervous system, but also great for brain function, also great for memory, also great for, of course, dementia. Now, the last one is vitamin B12. Most people know about B12. Why? Well, they know that it helps with energy, and they know that it helps with brain fog. Not as many people know that it actually helps with the cardiovascular system, helps decrease inflammation, and also helps with cellular aging. Now, again, with that, they're doing a lot of studies with B12 and Alzheimer's and showing that that's helping as well. So again, those are what all the different B vitamins do. They all help with inflammation. They all help with kind of energy, mood, all those things when combined together. And I honestly believe it's best to get all of your B vitamins as a B complex. And then you can take extra of 1 or 2 of those B vitamins as needed. For example, on last week's Friday review, and that's why I know I try not to make the shows too long, but I honestly believe if you can tune in every single day, you're going to get a new little nugget of information that you'll be able to share with someone else as well. Because last week, I spoke about how to just add on a natural folate to whatever you're doing now for prenatal. And you don't need to take a separate prenatal vitamin because oftentimes prenatal vitamins aren't as great. They honestly aren't. You should be just taking a good methylated multivitamin and then adding on an extra 400 micrograms of folate per day. Like, that's it. You could do a little extra DHA or EPA for nervous system and brain, mood development, all those different types of things. But that was last Friday. That was episode 581. Of course, we'll link everything up in the show notes today. So what I want to do is, like, how do you get these foods that have all these great B vitamins? Well, it's not very difficult. So the problem is we don't often get enough of them. A lot of things, people are on acid blockers, so they don't break down their proteins well enough to actually absorb the B12, the B6, the B vitamins that they need. And people aren't eating enough of the dark green leafy vegetables. So let's go over them right now. So there's so many crossovers. I was going to go over today, like B1, what the ways to, all right, I'll do a quick overview and then I'm going to do a recap to make it easier for you. So to get more of thiamine, vitamin B1, we're going to want to increase our whole grains. So those are things like oats and rice and millet, quinoa. You're going to be able to get more of those specific things. So when I say whole grains, I mean that. I'm gluten-free. I believe in really trying to be gluten-free as much as possible. I have gluten once a week in a cheat meal. Again, thoroughly enjoy that cheat meal, but I'm not a big believer in it. If you had it a couple times a week and you ran a food sensitivity test, again, you can do this right at home. We'll link it up in the show notes. Run a food sensitivity test to see if you have an IgG reaction to it, because a lot of people don't feel bad when they eat it initially. The problem is it creates inflammation a day or two later. So that's why it's important to look at that IgG test. Okay, another way to get all of your B vitamins you're going to see is through eggs. So if you eat eggs, the yolk of the egg, keep in mind, not the white, but the yolk, you'll be getting that as well. Some nuts and some beans too. Okay, B2, green leafy vegetables. You're going to see this over and over. Lean meats, milk products. I'm not an advocate of dairy at all, not cow's milk. If you want to make the argument for sheep or goat milk, you can make that argument, and I can allow you to make that argument. Yes, that's okay. Lower levels of IGF-1, lower hormones, make sure that it's grass-fed, grass-finished for sure, pastured. Okay. B3, niacin. Where are you going to get that from? Eggs, fish, nuts, dairy, meats, legumes. So legumes is another way to get your B vitamins as well. So that's things like sometimes chickpeas, but lentils for sure. Lentils are a great source of B vitamins. That's a nice one right there. And, beans overall. Okay, B5. Where are we getting our B5 from? Avocados. So this is a nice place to get B5. Good for energy, right? Broccoli, kale, whole grains, potatoes, eggs, legumes, and meat. What about B6? Where are we going to get our B6? That's my favorite, right? Not my favorite, right? They're all my favorite. But that one is the missing link. It's potatoes, chickpeas, all fruit except for citrus, chicken, fish, and organ meats. So it's not as easy to get. We're not getting it through our green leafies. We're not really getting it through as much of our meat. Through organ meat, very rare, right? And people aren't eating organ meats. Some fish, again, we have to get wild fish, healthy fish, pastured chicken, which is just super hard to get now unless you can get a local good source. So we're looking at potatoes, chickpeas, and fruit. Where are we getting our biotin from? Egg yolks especially. But mushrooms, interesting enough. Mushrooms, Swiss chard, chicken, salmon, egg yolks, I already mentioned that once, and whole grains. All right, what about our folate? Liver, all right? Liver is nice and high in folate or folic acid. Spinach, legumes, beans, asparagus, oranges, broccoli, peanuts, avocado, dark leafy greens, and salmon. And let's cap it out. Well, choline, let me just say choline, great source of that from egg yolks. Let's go with another one, B12. Where we're getting our B12 from? Fish, beef, milk, yogurt, cheese, eggs, shellfish, liver, and clams. Again, I try to recommend as much of a gluten-free and dairy-free lifestyle as possible. I've seen miraculous changes in children and adults by doing my elimination diet, those are the two of the foods that I eliminate on things like the Dr. Ball Detox, as well as our Candida and bacterial overgrowth plan. Amazing results from that. I try to live my life, really, again, like people ask me like what I do. I have a very well-rounded diet, like very well-rounded, but there's a few things that I don't eat. And that's, I eat very little meat, if any, at all. And I don't eat dairy. And I'm not eating gluten except for a once a week epic cheat meal. So that's about it. And now the other things are lots of, again, my nutrition plan. Go back to previous podcasts. You'll hear all about it. But I say a lot of people argue over literally nothing. The majority of your diet should be plant-based, right? We as humans are literally plant-based eaters. Look at the physiology of any animal that looks anything like us. Anything like us. And you'll see that their physiology, their teeth, their digestive tract, their stomach, we're looking at eating plants, eating fruit, and about 70%, 60 to 80% of your diet should be made up of that. Let everyone argue over the other 20%. Okay, so now let's move on. What else can these B vitamins do? We've talked about before. How do we boost mood? How do we boost all these things? Well, I told you, one of the ways that we are improving mood is actually by boosting levels of serotonin, our happy, feel-good neurotransmitter. We do that through potentiating the transaction between basically tryptophan and serotonin, and B6 helps with that. We're helping our DNA, we're helping our inflammation. All of these things are going to lead to also less stress on the body, without a doubt. So we have mood, we have reducing stress, and now how do we get more energy? Well, that's simple. The mitochondria are some of those powerhouses, like we say, inside the cells that produce us with both oxygen-based energy and the anaerobic lactic acid-based energy. Everything helps with our immune system, lowers our inflammation. Another show, maybe I'll talk more about all these different benefits, because there's so many benefits to cardiovascular-based aging by taking B vitamins as well. But here's the thing. I like to keep things simple. A couple things you can do. One, you can run an organic acids test. We'll link it up in the show notes. Go to stephencabral.com/588. Okay, so we have that. That will actually show your levels of B vitamin. Not from a blood test, but actually, how much are you using? It's so much more important to run these subclinical tests, not a blood test. A urine-based test that shows you what is the waste coming from these, because that means you actually used it. Doesn't mean it's in the bloodstream. Fine, it's in the bloodstream. That means it's available. I want to know how much you're using. Okay, so we look at that. Now, the second thing is, if you don't want to run the lab test, you can, of course, just eat more of these good, healthy foods, but you have to make sure your digestion's strong. So maybe do something like a digestive enzyme to better digest your food. That will certainly help you get more B vitamins out of your food, especially if you are paleo and you're eating a lot of meat or anything like that. You want to be able to make sure you break those things down well enough. Have a cup of ginger tea with those whole food meals. What's the third way? The third way is really simple, is to do the daily nutritional support shake. That's what I do every morning. It's what 80+%, probably 90+% of people do in my practice and on my team. And it's really simple. All it is it's your protein shake in the morning and it has all of your multivitamins, all of your minerals, all of your antioxidants, 15 grams of vegan-based protein. But here's the deal as well. I put in it a full multi-B complex. So it's not just like a multivitamin, which gives you a dusting of B vitamins. It's 50 milligrams or more of most of those B vitamins, and they're in their methylated form. You won't find that in too many other products. Don't just buy a vitamin based on marketing. Look at the label. Our label says it all. I created a product that I wanted to use every single morning, and I want it for my family, and of course, I want for everyone in my private practice, and that includes you as well. You're our online community. You are a part of my practice. We might never talk one-on-one, but you are a part of this community, and I want the best for you and your family as well. And the last part is you could do an actual B vitamin, which I do during any times of extra stress. When I'm going on the road speaking, when I'm traveling this week, I'm going to be taking my B vitamin every single morning at breakfast or lunch. A lot of times I do it at lunch. But again, sometimes I just take everything in the morning, everything. I have it broken up during the day for my private wellness clients. But when you get well, you can just do something like the Dr. Cabral Daily Protocol, which is your greens powder in the morning, your daily nutritional support shake, your probiotic, and you're good to go. Everything else is an add-on, like a benefit beyond that. I highly recommend this B complex. It's called the Activated B complex. Why do I recommend it? Plain and simple, it's this. It gives you that safety net to make sure you're getting all of your B vitamins to boost your mood. So if your mood's low right now, if your energy is low right now and you're feeling stressed, you're most likely low on B vitamins. You don't have enough of a buffer. Do the daily nutritional support shake first. If you're doing that, great. I would add on the B complex. It's what I did for many years. It's what I still do to this day. It's what my mentor recommended to me, and now I'm recommending it to you. So you actually get a complimentary bottle this month, September 2017, if you go to stephencabral.com/store. Literally, I'm giving you a $39.95 bottle of my B complex complimentary out of my pocket. And the reason is I want you to know the difference between using a real functional medicine-based nutritional supplement versus something that you could just buy at a grocery food store, a drugstore, or like your local Costco or a place like that. There's a real difference. Your body knows it and it feels it because it's in the end stage methylated version. I'm not selling you anything. It's completely free. You place an order on stephencabral.com and we're going to ship it to you this month. So again, you can get it through food. You can get it through the daily nutritional support shake, and you can get it obviously by taking a B complex. I recommend just taking one a day. That's it. Just take one of the B complex if you're already doing the shake, and you'll get everything your body needs. This is specifically formulated by me, and it's for myself. It's again for my family. It's for you. It's for everyone in our community. Really appreciate you tuning in today. Please, as always, do feel free to share this show with anyone it could help. I want to sincerely thank you for your support of this podcast. I couldn't do it without you, and I mean that. I truly do. I also want to make sure you knew that we now have multiple ways for you to find your answers to the most difficult health, wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging questions. You can find podcast-specific topics like thyroid, adrenal, hormones, sleep, digestion, Ayurveda, and many more at stephencabral.com/podcasts that will then link you to your favorite Apple, Spotify, and other podcast players. Plus, all new podcasts and weekly exclusive video content is being added to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Stephen Cabral. And that's Stephen with a PH. Head on over and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the exclusive content. Lastly, if you've ever found any of my podcasts or books to be helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a review on iTunes or your favorite media player for the podcast. Rating and subscribing to the YouTube and podcast allow me to reach more and more people and help spread my mission of healing throughout the world. Thank you again for being a part of this movement.